So, where was the last place you saw the Yorkie?
A friend gave it to me. It sat in my pocket for a while. I handed it back to my friend.
So, just talk me through. Did you purchase the Yorkie initially?
Correct.
So you purchased the Yorkie. I'm just trying to understand what happened here. So you purchased the Yorkie, and who were you with when you purchased the Yorkie?
There's no need to rectify yourself. I fully understand the questions you're trying to make.
So just clarify, who were you with when you bought the Yorkie?
I was with Connor Winning and Ed Griffin.
And so you purchased the Yorkie amongst other things, cigarettes and beers, and you made your way back to James Hick's house, is that correct?
What are you trying to insinuate?
Absolutely nothing. At this stage, I'm on a fact-finding mission. So you made your way back to James Hick's house, is that correct?
Correct.
Upon arriving at James Hick's house, where did you place the Yorkie?
On the sideboard.
Okay, so whereabouts in the house was the sideboard?
Above the fridge outside, in the garage.
Okay, so the last place in your mind that you saw the Yorkie was outside in the garage, on the side, by the fridge.
Incorrect, we've already discussed this question.
So just clarify for me, just help me understand it.
Will you ask me where it was placed after we got back?
Okay, so I'll rephrase the question. Where was the last place you saw the Yorkie?
Oh, we've just done this question. It was in my pocket and I gave it to my mate. That's the last time I saw it.
Who's your mate?
Joel Rivers.
So the last place you saw the Yorkie, just to clarify from my understanding, the last place you saw the Yorkie was when you handed it over to your friend, Joel Rivers.
Wouldn't say he's a friend, I'd say he's more of a...
Dogs.
Yeah, he's more of a dog.
Just for the record, that was an external source, Guy Kinniston, chipping in there. Right, so the last place that Oliver Coates saw the Yorkie is when he handed it over to his friend, or not so much friend, Joel Rivers.
Someone I know.
An acquaintance.
Well,
Guy Kinniston's perspective on the Yorkie situation.
Ollie Coates hid the Yorkie bar in the mechanism for the garage door. I proceeded to take the Yorkie bar, put it in my pocket. I then decided it wouldn't be funny because I didn't want to eat it. So what I did from then, as I put it in Ollie Coates' right-hand pocket at about 7:30 on the dot. 5 minutes later, the Yorkie bar had gone missing. No one else knew that it was in that pocket other than me. So he's lost it. That's the end of the story.
So, Guy, can I just ask, did anyone witness you taking the Yorkie, playing around with it, and then placing it back into Oliver Coates' pocket?
Someone did. I can't remember who was stood next to me. Someone saw me go. That wouldn't pick up on the mic.
Bear in mind, this is just sound, so just explain.
Someone saw. I apologise. I forgot I wasn't on camera. I picked up the Yorkie bar and proceeded to wave it around my vicinity as if I was waving a lolly stick about in front of a friend of mine who I can't remember who it was. I think it could have been Ed Griffin or Tom Edwards or Joel Rivers. I did that. I then proceeded. I regret to inform the court that I'd had a few beers, and this evidence may not be too accurate. I then proceeded to put the chocolate bar in Ollie Coates' right-hand pocket. Within 5 minutes, we had accusations the bar had been lost. In my opinion, I'm not a judge, I'm not a jury. In my humble opinion, that bar has been lost by Ollie Coates.
Quick question. Was it my right-hand pocket or your right hand? Your right hand. Okay.
Okay, so Guy Kinniston, would you suggest that I would interview said acquaintances and friends, the people who may have witnessed you place that bar into Oliver Coates' pockets?
I would suggest that. Just fucking buy a new one. It's fucking Yorkie bar.
I mean, I think that's necessary. So let me follow that up. So here I am with Tom Edwards. You were the one that lost the Yorkie. You were the one that the Yorkie was purchased for. I just wanted to get your perspective on the event.
Yeah, so it was approximately 3 in the afternoon. I was quite peckish, and I said to my then good friend, I suppose, I'd love it if you could can you get me Yorkie bar? I was like, bro, get me Yorkie bar. And he was like, yeah, no worries. And obviously, yeah, he came back. He was like, I've got Yorkie bar. I didn't see it, and then obviously, everything happened afterwards. So that's what I know. Basically, that's the story.
So in your mind, like, if speculation, and everything, where would you say the Yorkie bar is right now?
I think there's a couple of scenarios. I mean, either Ollie, who's like not a skinny man, ate the Yorkie bar himself. He's possibly a type 2 diabetic and really likes sweet things, so he ate it. Or someone else, I suppose someone else would have eaten it. Or I suppose the worst option is that he never got the Yorkie bar, and he completely, just mugged me off and didn't even buy it. And I'd like to hope that at least he was my mate, and that he would have at least bothered to buy it. But I don't know. I don't know what to say.
So basically, you're suggesting that you never saw the Yorkie bar be purchased, so you don't even know if it actually got placed in the first place.
I was occupied. I didn't see the Yorkie, but I didn't even see the Yorkie bar when it arrived. I didn't see a wrapper. I saw nothing. I just heard like, oh, yeah, Coach has got your Yorkie bar, but I didn't actually see it, so it's really hard for me to say actually what happened. But I don't trust the guy. He's got a ginger beard, and Judas had a ginger hair. No one trusted Judas for that reason. So I'm really yeah. So.
I mean, valid points. So just explain a little bit about Oliver Coates to me in terms of character. What do you know of him as character?
So the guy's a shady character. He went to a real second-rate school. He's real untrustworthy. I mean, I've lent the guy probably £4,000 to £5,000 over the years I've known him, and he's paid me back probably like £200 to £300 of that, and most of it's in like foreign exchange currency, which is real dodgy as well. The guy dresses like basically out of Oxfam clothes, and he called my mum once and was real weird to her, so it's really hard to like trust the guy. So don't know.
Okay, that's really interesting. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries. But I'd like my Yorkie bar. So big shout out if anyone knows the Yorkie bar is. I'm really up for it, and I'm really hungry. So hashtag Yorkie bar 2015.
Cool. I'm just trying to get a feel for where the Yorkie bar might have taken place. There's some people that have said that they've seen the Yorkie bar be purchased. Were you one of those people? Did you know that? Have you seen it in real life?
I didn't see it be purchased, but I saw it earlier on. I mean, I saw the Yorkie bar being passed around, and I saw people holding it, and I definitely saw it going into Ollie's pocket. Where it went after then is a mystery to most people, an awful lot of people actually, because we know what Ollie's like when it comes down to, for a start, Yorkie bars is one thing, bank cards, wallets, that's a whole different level.
So sorry, you're saying that Oliver Coates has a record, as a history of losing property?
I mean, I don't like to shed him in a bad light. Absolutely not. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. But my experience from knowing Ollie for a long period of time is that he's susceptible to misplacing things on a regular basis, and so all I'm saying is that this might have happened with the Yorkie bar. Is that maybe he was holding the Yorkie bar. The Yorkie bar was in his pocket. He got distracted by a bully or a drink, or it might have even been just a bird flying past the window, and that was enough for him to lose concentration for that short split second, and to misplace the Yorkie bar. So it's very difficult to say where the Yorkie bar is now, and I know that it's a difficult thing for some people to comprehend. But
5 missed calls from head office. Can you please?
But it's quite typical of his style of approach to property. And particularly to bars
outside of work, but sometimes
bars, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily because it's a non-Cadbury product, whether it's because it's from another supplier, or whether it wasn't for his own gain, whether he's trying to do it as a personal vendetta against Mr. Edwards.
I was a victim of this whole thing. I was just.
Tom Edwards on record.
I was going to say I was completely a victim. In no way I want to be held responsible. I was just a victim. I was just there as a bystander. I just wanted some food. I was hungry. I had low blood sugar levels. I had a long day.
Just give me a little bit of an idea of why you wanted the Yorkie bar in the first place.
So the Yorkie bars are a real nice, chunky, like calorific bar for the hungry gentleman, and I was just hungry. That's it. I don't know. I don't want to get incriminated. I don't even know who you are. But I was the victim of this. That's what I'm saying.
So Oz, can you just confirm a simple question? You saw the Yorkie bar in possession of who?
I definitely saw the Yorkie bar in Oliver's possession. I mean, it was probably at least an hour and a half, 2 hours ago from now, but it was in his pocket, and I don't know if he was hiding it there or whether he was keeping it there for safekeeping to pass on to Mr. Edwards.
So you can confirm that the Yorkie bar was 100% purchased from Carvel's, the name's
I can definitely confirm that the Yorkie bar was actually purchased from Carvel's, and it was brought back to the Hick residence. What happened to it thereafter is a question in all of our minds, which none of us are quite sure of the answer, to be honest, because there was some kind of confusion, and people were saying, some people were saying one thing, other people were saying one other. Oliver, Mr. Coates has been quite forefront in his mind in saying that he had nothing to do with the disappearance. Had nothing to do with the disappearance of the Yorkie bar, and from what I understand, is that actually Mr. Coates went upstairs for a significant period of time, and he was seeking to he ran a bath, and he got the bubble bath, and he lay in there for at least 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes.
I just want to say on record that at the moment that there's an additional opinion from Benedict Romain at this term. Carry on, sorry.
I'm not being influenced by Benedict Romain at all, no. But I know that he was upstairs for at least 20 minutes. Could have been 40 quite easily. People weren't paying a whole load of attention, but during that time, it may be that the Yorkie bar was dissipated, and where it was dissipated, we don't know, because we've not checked the bath water, we've not checked his underpants, and
so just for a split second, just speculate with me. Where in your mind, where would you imagine the Yorkie bar ended up? Do you think it dissolved into the bath water, or do you think it dissolved into his mouth? Just speculate for a second for me.
The thing is, he was in the bath for a reasonably long period of time. What I'm hypothesising, the thing is, this has to be taken as purely a hypothetical situation, but what I can quite realistically imagine is that he sat in it with in the bath with him for 40 minutes or so, until it was a soft texture, a very, very soft texture. As you can imagine, inside the casing this Yorkie bar comes in, and then
I think that was a conscious decision to sit on the Yorkie itself, or did it fall into the bath accidentally?
no, I think he took it into the bath with him on purpose, and probably held it between his legs.
Of your opinion of sound mind, he knew what he was doing and he wasn't influenced by a third party?
No, I think this was a pre-planned decision. I think it was very much a pre-planned decision where he took it into the bath with him, held it between his legs, and then once it was soft enough,
That would piss me off to no end.
once it was soft enough, he siphoned it into his mouth, and just
What about the biscuity bits?
Hold on. Just to clarify,
and disposed of the packaging, quite possibly by flushing it down the toilet,
wow.
followed by a large pile of smoke.
Wow, so some really strong views there from Oz Watson. Not necessarily a close relative to the case, but I just want to ask you, Oz. I've had some quotes from Guy Kinnison himself, who said he actually handled the biscuit bar himself, and he said that there was a period of time where he flaunted the bar. He had the bar and he flaunted it in front of other spectators, and he said he couldn't quite remember who those people were who would have seen him with the bar, but he said very quickly after he flaunted the bar, he then placed it into the the right hand pocket of Oliver Coase's fake barber jacket. So I just want to know. This is Benedict Romain. Sorry, go on.
Can I just confirm that the quality of said jacket was actually incredibly poor, and wouldn't classify as a barber at all?
And I think this is important because I think, as a character statement, it's good to know that this person buys fake products. But getting back to the point, I think, so he's saying that Guy Kinnison flaunted the chocolate bar, in his possession, but quickly placed it back into the possession of Oliver Coates into his right-hand pocket. His right-hand pocket. Did you see any of that take place?
I can affirm that I was there at that point in time where he was certainly flaunting it. He was waving it about, almost showing it off. Saying, "Here I am. Here's my chocolate bar. Bow down to me." And he was saying, this chocolate bar has 6 nuggets within this case, joined together as one bar, and he stashed it away, as I remember, in his right hand pocket, amongst his smoking paraphernalia and other bits and pieces which I'm sure probably polluted the product.
Just to clarify, because there's some discrepancies in this case, Guy Kinnison said that he was the one that flaunted the bar. Did you see Coatsy flaunt the chocolate bar as well?
Well, as far as I remember it was passed around a couple of people, and they were sort of holding it above their heads, announcing its presence and saying, the Yorkie bar is here. Bow down to the presence of the Yorkie bar.
So just to clarify, who was saying these things?
I think Oliver Coates was leading the procession. Guy Kinnison was certainly involved. There may have been 1 or 2 other people involved in that scenario, but I know that the Yorkie bar certainly returned to Oliver Coates' pockets. His right hand jacket pockets amongst his smoking paraphernalia.
Can I just ask?
Okay, so Benedict Romain, I'm going to take you on record now. In your mind, where did the bar ever exist? Was it purchased in your mind? And if so, where did it go and where did it come from?
The case of the Yorkie has been a much contested issue, both tonight and I believe many weeks into the future. But for now, all I can say is that as a participant of this gathering, not once have I actually seen the Yorkie bar. All I've heard is a lot of conjecture as to its existence, as to whose possession it was in, who it was passed around. I didn't see a trace of not only a Yorkie bar but any chocolate or snacks, and it seems to me quite unlikely that a single bar would have been purchased amongst a large betrothal of beers, pizzas, and other products. The single bar of Yorkie being bought is quite possibly an urban myth.
So in your mind, the bar was an urban myth. It wasn't even purchased in the first place, and actually it's carried on from there. Just confirm it in a small, concise sentence.
Well, I mean, it's hard to be concise when the theories are endless, the possibilities are endless. But I believe that the Yorkie bar itself is actually a personification of both Tom Edwards' needs and other people's wants and desires. So, I think it has a lot to do with the relationship that Tom Edwards had with his father. And
That's conjecture.
and then there's a lot of deep psychological issues at play here, both to do with, the idea of the chocolate bar itself clearly has its phallic connotations. The chocolate consistency, to me, strikes me as being talking about poo.
So you actually think it's a much broader spectrum of issues here that come from Tom Edwards' parenthood, as opposed to a chocolate bar being purchased at a shop in the very reality of
Well, it seems very unlikely to me that all of this debating and discussion would be actually over a fucking chocolate bar, and it seems much more likely that there's bigger issues at play here.
So I've heard from other interviewees and witnesses that Oliver Coates has got a tendency, shall we say, to lose possessions. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, not only does he lose possession of his things, he's what one would describe as a lost soul. He has no bearings on any moral grounds, any idea of any spirituality. Apart from his constant consumption of cheap vodka and poor chicken, I don't believe there's not a lot of substance within him at all.
Okay, and I've heard from other interviewees, and one of them being Oliver Watson, and I just wanted to know, he spoke quite broadly on the subject. He seemed to be very convinced of the things that took place. He mentioned that he'd seen the bar in position, and he'd also mentioned that he had a fairly solid theory about the bar melting into the mouth of the possessor, Oliver Coates, in a bathtub. I just wondered what were your thoughts on both Oliver Watson and his character and the likelihood of him speculating on these events?
To me, Dr. Watson's actually quite a highly esteemed colleague who on a usual basis, I take his opinion very highly. However, in this environment, there's been a lot of a kind of pack mentality, a lot of what some people may call joshing about, which has led to this kind of group psychotic idea of this possessive nature over a made-up chocolate bar, which clearly relates to the anal virginity of all of said group. Yet, in essence, it's a story of a group of young boys searching for their own identity. There's an essence of play, there's an essence of self-discovery, which is quite healthy, yet at the end they're reaching their 30s and they probably need to start growing up.
Benedict Romain, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate that. So let's move on. So James here, there's been some there's been some talk.
Hello!
You don't need to shout. There's been some talk tonight of a missing chocolate bar, and I just wanted to know, first and foremost, have you any knowledge of the chocolate bar that's gone missing, and did you see it in reality? Did you see it actually purchased and in person?
I think Yorkie intelligence. Yorkie intelligence. Yorkie. The bar that we're missing.
Can I just say, this investigation has thus far been led by a lot of scholarly subject, and a lot of research has gone into this, and I hate this whole thing to be brought down by cheap puns. That's just my view. Next.
I'm gonna sustain that, and I'm gonna move on from James Hick because I personally don't think he's gonna add to the case. In fact, he's presenting me right now with a caramel Cadbury's cream egg. Now, the key to a good
Caramel egg.
I mentioned the caramel. The key to the good case is impartiality, and I don't think on this occasion, as someone who sold chocolate bars himself, James Hick is valid for being impartial. However,
If I may interject,
I've got a Connor here, and he's a man of Irish descent. I'd like to know Connor O'Connor, and he has a lot of strong opinions. Firstly, Connor, have you any knowledge of the actual chocolate bar existing in real life?
I saw it being purchased, and I personally handed it to Ollie Coates in the garage.
Wow, so you actually saw the transaction take place, so you can vouch for the fact that you were in Carvel's with, can you just mention the names of the people that you were with?
Ollie Coates, Jason there?
Jason Hawson,
I believe Jason was there. So the three of us buying some very fine Italian pizza, cigarettes, which were also involved in the Yorkie purchase. And I last saw the Yorkie when I personally passed it to Oliver Coates, and that was the last time that the Yorkie bar was seen. I'm not saying it was Ollie, but it was Ollie.
So you're actually clarifying that you saw the Yorkie bar purchased, and then you passed it to Oliver Coates himself, and that was the last time from your memory you saw it in possession of anyone.
Everybody's memory. This is correct.
So if you were to speculate for me for 2 seconds, what would you say in your mind happened to that Yorkie bar from purchase? Speculate for me for a second.
I believe that Oliver Coates has hidden the Yorkie bar.
If there's any coders,
So you don't think that he would have eaten it, or
No, there was too many people. Too many people were there.
and tell me, what do you think? Why was the purchase made in the first place?
Tom Edwards asked for it. He specifically ordered a Yorkie bar with 10 Marlboro Lights, and neither made it back to his person.
Right. Okay. So if you could explain, because other witnesses have mentioned that Oliver Coates has a tendency to lose possessions, and I was wondering what's your take on that?
I think it's quite fitting to his personality. I think you look at the man and think, is he feral? I think, does he steal things? Maybe.
Very powerful. Thank you very much, Connor. I really appreciate it. So next I'm going to speak to you, Joe. Joe, I was just wondering...
Is this still the Yorkie investigation?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. Were you present to any of the Yorkie...
So I know that you arrived very late, so I wasn't here for the start. I've never seen the Yorkie, so I don't know how well equipped I am to answer any of these questions. But Oliver Coates, I've heard rumours of Oliver Coates taking Yorkie to the bath. I can't confirm or deny. I'm in no place to comment.
Okay, so if you're not aware of the doings and what happens, then maybe perhaps you could
know what kind of Yorkie it was.
Okay, so maybe you could talk to me a little bit from a completely
as an outsider,
a perspective of characters. Sure. Let me tell you about a few of the people that were involved. So far, so far I've got that Tom Edwards was the one that asked for the Yorkie to be purchased, and actually I've got a witness that says he saw the purchase of the Yorkie at Carvel's, and actually he handed the Yorkie to Oliver Coates at Carvel's, and that was the last time he saw it. What I'm asking is, well, Oliver Coates is the one that personally apparently bought it. So what I want to know is,
so it's a tricky one. If he bought and stole, do they count each other out?
I think the point is that he can you just tell me about what's going on right now?
I think Oliver Coates has just vomited blue curacao phlegm onto his seat.
So what you're saying is he's an untrustable character.
Yeah, I think this proves that he's very untrustworthy. I mean, I can't see any chocolate in it. I can see there might be a little bit of chocolate in it.
So can you confirm, and all of us, and I just need to confirm, forensics here, and both Joe, is there any chocolate in his spew?
I mean, looking at his
There may have been some chocolate in the vomit. This section looks very brown.
I mean, looking at his exhalation, his Barry is one way of putting it.
For fuck's sake,
there's the majority of what is contained in there was blue, but
what is that blue, from your knowledge?
The blue, I'm curious of. I think it's probably ink cartridges he's been swallowing.
Where's the bin? The brownish element could have been blood. It could have been feces. It equally could have been It could have been brown ink cartridges. Given his history.
So just going back to our character statement for a second. So as you mentioned that Oliver has a.
Sorry, we've got a small amount of vomit under the table here.
Okay, just tell me what's going on here.
We found some more specimens. So we've got more evidence.
Sorry, and Benedict remains back on the case. Benedict, we've got some more specimens of the vomit. Can you just talk me through what's going on and what's on the floor here?
Oliver, I'm surprised you weren't here.
It looks like, to me, that Oliver's years of mistreating his body with a poor diet, lack of exercise, lack of any general direction in life has started to catch up with him to the point where his own body is rejecting himself. So to the point where anything he consumes comes straight up, not out of any physical nature, any sort of. It's nothing to do with alcohol content. It's more to do with a general objection to the way things are run. It's a revolt from within. It's a military coup from his intestines up via the gusset. Picking up a little bit of bile and Blue Lagoon on the way, resulting in a lot of mess in James Hicks' house. And as a generous host, I mean, I think it's quite unfair that he's not owning up to the case, he's not clearing up. My suspicions of said Yorkie bar before being false have now been greatly challenged just by the general disrespect that Oliver Coates shows to the host and other members of the party, to the point where I think he may have in fact himself stolen the Yorkie bar, waved it in front of everyone's faces, eaten it, and then done poopy upstairs.
So are you saying that as a person that's willing to spew, to vomit in a friend's house, someone who considers a good friend, he is a bad person?
I describe him as a very bad person, yes.
Excellent, thank you very much. That was perfect. And Jason, you were there on the purchase of the Yorkie bar. Jason Horton, what was your opinion? Did you see the Yorkie bar being purchased first and foremost?
This is full.
Tony Hawk is off the board.
Sorry, just was the Yorkie bar purchased in your?
I won't lie to you, Stuart. I wasn't there when the Yorkie was purchased. All I know is that Senor Coates has some cigarettes, which have also gone missing. Which I really do feel this has been bypassed. And I'd just like to announce to the public, I have those cigarettes.
Okay, so you're actually admitting, guilt in terms of the cigarettes. So what is it that?
I know nothing about the Yorkie.
Okay, so what is it that in terms of everyone else? Why shouldn't they suspect you of stealing the Yorkie as well?
I don't like Yorkie. I like Cadbury's. I'm out.
Okay, that was Jason Horton there.
No, it's terrible. Yorkie is terrible unless it's raisin and biscuit. Then it's the best thing.
Raisin and biscuit are good. But do we know
find those bags?
do we know what Yorkie it was?
It was plain.
Did you find these cigarettes
Plain
after all
Yorkie
that?
is awful.
It's Ollie's
awful,
Ollie cigarette.
dusty Nestle shit.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
Oh wait, hang on.
Why do you think someone would steal such a Yorkie bar?
Well, I think it was someone who's desperate. It was someone who doesn't get much chocolate.
I do like munchies though.
Munchies are great, sure, but that's the biscuit and the caramel. You're not buying them for the chocolate, are you?
Fine for the caramel. I get what you're saying.